Okay, so we have something a little strange happening at the bottom of our tail here, okay? So let's take a look in our perspective mode. So you can see there's kind of a split happening right down the middle of the tail here. There are these two shapes coming out of there, okay? So that's actually something we don't want. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. We're going to go ahead and go to face mode. And we're just going to get rid of all of these kind of extruded faces that we've got here, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all those. And we're just going to repair it by extruding, okay? So let's go to edge mode here. We're going to grab these two faces right on the end of this gap that we have just created, okay? These guys right here. We're just going to go to edit mesh and extrude. And we'll just bring those, once we've extruded them, just use our move tool here to just kind of bring them down and in line with the other end of our gap there, which is right here, okay? Oops. Okay, so I'm noticing there seems to be a little something strange going on right in this area. You might notice when I'm highlighting this edge, it's kind of flickering a little bit, kind of back and forth, and if you try this, it'll happen with yours too. That kind of flickering indicates that there's probably some faces that are on top of faces in that area. Basically, that tends to happen when you extrude an area and then you don't actually move the extrusion, so then you just have some faces that are kind of tucked away underneath other faces. So if we pull out these verts, you can see this this extra face appearing, okay? So we gotta make sure that we get rid of funny stuff like that. We don't want any funny business on our shark. It'll cause a lot of problems later on when you're rendering the shark. It'll cause flickering, whether it's a movie or a game. So let's go ahead and get rid of those extra faces. Alright. Let's double check now. Okay, everything looks normal. Nothing is popping out of places where it doesn't belong. So now we're actually ready to go ahead and connect this face that we've extruded out, okay? So to do that, we're just going to go to Edit Mesh. We're going to use our Merge Vertex tool. And what we're going to do is actually click and drag the vertex that we want to move over to the vertex that we want it to be attached to. And what that's going to do is go ahead and attach those two vertices, and it's going to make them into one vertex, one connected vertex now. So, just like the name of the tool says, it's going to merge those two vertices together, okay? Once we've done that, we've actually just closed the gap that we opened up, okay? We fixed that weird geometry problem that we were having before, okay? So let's come back and check this out from the side again. Just make sure everything's all nice and neat and straight. And it's looking pretty good, just like that, okay? So we fixed kind of the bottom of the fin area there. Let's take a look at the top and what's going on with that. Actually, before we do that, we'll kind of check out this area right here too. You can see there's kind of some unusual curves going on there, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so here we are on the top of Sharky, and we've got kind of this sort of divot going on here as it's leading into the tail. So we don't want that. So we just pull this vertex back. And you'll notice when I did that, it looks like kind of nothing happened. So what that means is this is a face on top of a face. Alright, so we got some more weird face issues here. This is the vertex that I actually meant to grab. And this one was sitting right on top of it. Alright, so that guy is a problem. Just gonna tuck that guy inside the shark for now. We'll take a look at it. So let's kind of zoom into the inside of the shark. And let's see what's happening with this extra face that we have. Okay, so it looks like it's kind of attached to, okay, so right down the center of our tail here, the top of our tail, looks like we have this kind of division going and running down in the center. Okay, so we've got half of the tail here on one side of this division, and half of the tail on the other side of this division, and it looks like it goes all the way up the tail. So let's try and move some of this stuff around and see if we can't get rid of this, okay? Yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do is just go ahead and grab these kind of center faces. We're going to delete them because we definitely don't want those guys. Alright. And it can be a little tricky trying to grab these because they're actually, you know, inside the tail. So, you know what? It might be easier at this point because there's so much funny stuff going on up there, and it's a little hard to select because it's inside the tail. What probably will be the easiest way to remedy this will actually be to just marquee select this whole top part of the tail. And we're just going to go ahead and get rid of it. We're going to make a new tail top, okay? Let's go ahead and fix this one area that we kind of have left over. So let's just move these verts around. They're kind of all sitting on top of each other right now. We'll just move them outwards and away from one another. Alright. So everything looks pretty normal with those guys. We got rid of all our weird bad faces. Okay, let's look at this from the side again. Just make sure that things are lining up as straight as they possibly can be. Okay. Also want to move that up a little bit to keep it in line with everything else. And we'll want to straighten this out as well. So let's bring that in a little bit. Get down. Okay, so at this point we're set to kind of fix the problems that we were having with our tail before, okay? So let's go ahead and grab these edges. We can double click and on an edge here, and what that does is actually it'll select all of the edges in a loop around that area, okay? So that's an edge loop there, and we just select all of them really quickly just by double clicking on one of them. And now we're going to come up to Edit Mesh and Extrude. And once we've done that, we can move our new extrusion up and over however we want, okay? Just scale it in. Just trying to follow our guide as much as we can. We can just kind of adjust things as we go as well. And we're going to do the same thing a few times until we get this tail built.